Hi, welcome to number 4. Don't even think about starting a business before you read this, or watch this, or listen to this. So we've covered a lot about mindset in the past few weeks. My voice is sort of back. I'm a bit husky, so I apologize. So far on our journey together, and I wanted to take you through mindset first, because you need to be in a happy and enthusiastic and self-assured place before you can start a business. So where do you even begin when you start a business? Now I'm going to say this, and as a marketing professional, I'll possibly get crucified for this, but don't even think about branding before you start a business. Branding is not the place to start. Everything in business starts with your target audience. I cannot stress that enough. From day one, target audience must be top of mind for you in every decision that you make. For your products, your branding, your website, your business cards, your packaging, everything has to speak to your target audience. Not you, not your mum, not your husband, not what your sister-in-law or your friend down the road says, but your target audience. Ultimately, your target audience is king or queen. It's who we're talking to very, very specifically when we're creating anything to do with our business. You need to be so clear and so specific with your audience that they feel that you understand their problem so well that you're speaking directly to them when you present any sort of marketing material, be that a Facebook post or your website or brochure. Ultimately, everyone in business is providing a solution to a problem. And knowing your audience takes you from anonymous to intimate, so that they feel you know the solution to their problem better than anyone else. And this feeling of intimacy means your messaging will have a greater cut through and be more effective. For example, think about those terrible TV ads. Apologies to people outside Australia. Those 5 cougars, thanks, ads, clearly aimed at men. Oh, absolutely nailed the target audience there. So specifically, the women weren't even considered. They weren't even part of the target audience consideration in that advert. And think about now the Panadol and Nurofen for children ads that we don't get commercial TV, so I only see a few ads, but where the mum talks about how awful it was when her child got their first fever and they didn't know what to do. And here they present a solution. So you think about where they touch on those vulnerabilities of the problems that mums have, specifically about not knowing what to do when the child has a problem, and they present you the solution. So you need to think about that sort of language and that sort of problem solving that you can present to your audience when you produce a product or put your website in front of them or give them a business card or introduce yourself and your business to a potential customer. So although it sounds cliche, target audiences, it's really marketing 101. And when you watch TV ads, you can start to take notice of who you think the target audience is. I mean, pensioners insurance, clearly, I'm not quite yet in the target audience. And I watch those ads and, you know, they talk about being scared of doing things online and being able to speak to someone over the phone. And that's very important for that audience. And those terrible mobile phone games with the music and the flashing lights, I'm not the target audience for that, but 16-year-old boys, I guess, are. But the ads that speak specifically to you, sorry, that's a cow mooing in the background, speak your language and they say what you want to hear. And if you can do that for your audience, you'll be more effective and your cut through will be there. And you'll get, you know, better return on investment. So often I talk about with my clients, who's your best customer? It's not the most loyal or the most regular, and certainly not the one who bends your ear for 20 minutes while you can't attend to other customers only to leave after buying something from the bargain bin. Or in my core business, which is building websites, the one who demands full artistic control, myriad changes on small one-off jobs, only to ask for a discount. Your best customer is the one who represents the highest value for the lowest effort. And it's that basic tenet again of marketing, which is return on investment, ROI. And it's about getting more bang for your buck. In terms of how you, as someone who has strong values in terms of what they've integrated into their business, it also is effortless. Your best customer aligns with your values as a human as well as a business person. So while you can make lots of money with small sales, regular high volume, high value sales are the ones that really keep you busy and make you money and make you happy, because they'll be effortless for the customer and for you because you'll be doing something that you love. So your best customer also is low maintenance and recommends you to their friends. They're my favorite words that I hear in my core business. I've spoken to 2 people recently about what I do, and they asked my name and I said, I'm Jane Mackay. And in a small town, that's why I named my business Jane Mackay Communications, which is my core business, because I knew that coming from the city where it's pretty anonymous in terms of web design, you've got to be slick, to here where it's community and it's all word of mouth, 99% of my business is word of mouth, I knew that using my name in my branding would be useful because people would know who I am. And they said, oh, you've been recommended to us. So that made me really happy. So anyway, think about who your target audience is, your ideal customer, very, very specifically. So who they are, gender, age, what they do, where they live, their demographics, be really specific. You can think about things beyond that, their interests, whether they have children at school, what they do with their day-to-day, all sorts of things, and the different touch points where you can interact with them, how they might find you, and again, what problem they have and what solution you're going to provide, and make it so effortless for them that your problem is just a no-brainer. Your product is a no-brainer. You may have heard of the excuse me, Pareto Principle. The Pareto Principle is exquisitely simple and will transform the way you think about your audience. I know it certainly did for me. It's named after an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto, and I excuse my terrible Italian accent. I did Latin at school, not Italian, who in 1906, after some study, found that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by just 20% of the population. And what was most important about Pareto's principle, this was finding that this 80-20 distribution actually happens quite frequently across all aspects of life. As an example, in general, 20% of your customers will represent 80% of your sales. So further to this, 20% of your time produces 80% of your results. So when you're thinking about the Pareto Principle, the 80-20 rule as it's known now, you can use this to plan how you're going to talk to your target audience. And if you can figure out which 20% of your time produces 80% of your business results and which 20% of your customers gives you 80% of your income, you can spend more time on those activities and speaking to those customers if you already have customers. If you don't already have customers, you can blue sky. You can imagine who you're going to speak to. You can imagine who they are and what they're doing right now and how your product could help them. So before you even think about branding, investigate your target audience really rigorously, get really specific, and once you've found them, then and only then move on to pretty colors and fonts and vision boards, which are important, but they're not as important as your target audience, because if your branding isn't speaking to that core 20%, then it's useless. So I'm going to talk more about branding next week. I'm going to start mixing up things now. Now we've addressed mindset, I'm going to start mixing things up between mindset and action and real business skills. So I look forward to seeing you next week, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, the YouTube channel, the blog. I appreciate it. Have a great day.